Well, g'day curd nerds. G'day curd nerds. Well, 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 g'day curd nerds and welcome to Ask the Cheeseman. This is episode 256. I'm glad you could join me today. Thank you so much for being here on this lovely Wednesday. Goodness me. It's been a busy week in the cheese world. I spent the last 2 days editing the Vegemite cheese video that is going to be released early tomorrow morning, my time. So just in time for Australia Day. So it should be very, very well. Fingers crossed. I've done a lot of work to it, and not only does the video look good, but the cheese does too. So, yeah, really cool. For those who don't know, I'm Gavin Webber, and I'm the host of the show, and hopefully the chief curd nerd today. We'll see how we go. But yeah, I'm here to answer all of your home cheese making questions. Big thank you to all the financial members. As always, we have a couple of note. Alberto B. Zapana, thank you Alberto for your YouTube membership, and Pirate of the North, thank you Pirate. Thank you, or should I say Andre, thank you for your membership, really appreciated. And of course, let's not forget the patrons as well. Thank you all of my patrons who donate money or keep the show going on a monthly basis. It's fantastic, and without your help, we wouldn't be able to do a two-weekly show. Twice a week show. I'll get it right in a minute. Goodness me. And also this week, Todd, I should get some free cheese. You're funny. You should get some free cheese for staying up. You're from the UK, right? What time is it in the UK? Let's have a look. Let me have a look at my world clock. London. It says 9 a.m. No, maybe you're not. No, you're not from London. I don't know. Alrighty. Hang on, let's get that out of there. Where was my train of thought? 2 new curd nerds in the Curd Nerd Academy this week. Thank you to Karen Thompson and Anthony Caruso. Thank you to both of you for signing up for the beginner's cheesemaking course. And as I said previously, there are more courses coming this year, which is good. Titus says, I'm from California, maybe? Yeah? Alright, cool. That means it would be 1:03 in the morning. Goodness me. Alright, let's say g'day to a few people. There's a few people watching now, which is fantastic. G'day to Shauna. Thank you, Shauna, for renewing your membership as well. Always greatly appreciated. G'day to Michael and Jenny. Thank you, Michael and Jenny, for coming today and saying g'day. Who else we got? We got Titus, of course. We got Eagle. We got Habib. Thank you, Habib. How are you, mate? And that's about it in the chat so far, but there's other people watching, 23 others. Yeah, say g'day, drop into the chat and say g'day. And now is the time to ask your cheese-making questions. There seems to be a lack of them at the moment, so please do so. While I was filming the Vegemite cheese video, which was good fun, I actually started wearing some of my new aprons. Hang on, I'll just... where the heck is it? Here it is. So these are available in the merch store. Not wanting to plug them, I just like them. So, picture of me sitting in the cheesy chair of wisdom. G'day Curd Nerds on the front. And the cool thing I do like about them is that the string things, they're all button on. You can unbutton them and put just the apron in the washing machine. So I'm very happy with that. But yeah, very cool. There we go. I'll put it over there, and you can see it in the rest of the show. Who else we got? We got a few others. We got B.A. Charles. G'day, Charles. B.A. Kani. How do we say that? Kenshiro Murugi. I'll just call you Ken. G'day, Ken. And we got Jay Loomis. G'day, Jay. From Colorado in the USA. And Gene. G'day, Gene. Love to see you all. So, what am I doing tomorrow on my day off, my Australia day? Well, nobody asked, but what I'm going to be doing is filming the start of the Cheese a Day Challenge. So I did mention a couple of weeks ago, a couple of live streams, that I'm filming the Cheese a Day Challenge again. So this is basically, the challenge is I buy commercial cheese that you can get in the supermarket or order online and taste it and see what it tastes like, and see if I can come up with any ideas for cheese making videos more near the end of it anyway. So that will start filming tomorrow. They won't get released until the first one will get released on obviously February 1st, and we'll be going all 28 days through the month of February, and then at the end, on not the 29th, but the 1st of March, we'll have a wrap-up, and I'll do top 5 and bottom 5 cheeses. And we'll have a look back, because I did it back in 2019, and one of the things I found, I didn't have a clear criteria on how I graded them. It was very subjective, I suppose, but it's always going to be subjective, because it's going to be down to personal preference and individual taste. Some of the cheeses that I thought were pretty ordinary or crappy there was a processed cheese in there somewhere. I can't remember what it was, but it was terrible. So yeah, it'd be certainly good fun, and I've got some nice cheeses already. I've probably got about 10 or 15 so far, so nearly half the month I've got cheeses in the little fridge in the studio here. And tomorrow I'm going to plan out which cheese goes on which day, and then start filming them accordingly. Get out all of my merch t-shirts and aprons, so that as I do batch filming, so I'm going to film them all in about, I don't know, 1 week blocks. So I'll film 7 days, 7 episodes worth in one day, if that makes sense, and then just release them as we go through February. So that'll be good fun. Anyway, that's what I'm going to start doing tomorrow. So that'll be good fun, and maybe relaxing a little bit in the afternoon. And depending on the weather, we might even have a barbecue. That's how nice it is here in sunny Melton. It was quite hot today. Anyway, that's just what's going on. Titus says, have you had local to you celebrities in your shows, Gavin? Have I had local celebrities in my show? In this show? Not that I know of. There are... I don't know if they're celebrities. They just own another company that sells cheese, and that was Sam and Helen from Cheese Therapy. I think we had them on an Ask the Cheeseman, way back when, probably 2 years ago now, before the pandemic. But I reached out to them when the pandemic started because there were so many artisan cheesemakers suffering, because all the restaurants had shut down. So all of their cheese supplies were basically sitting in their fridges maturing, and and they had to put them into cold storage because to stop the maturation. But some of the cheeses that they make, like the the white mold and blue mold cheeses, they don't age indefinitely like, say, a cheddar would or something like that. There is a shelf life per se, so we reached out and we had a little one-on-one, and I encouraged people to go and buy cheese. So I think if that's what you mean, yes, we did. But this year, when I do the 12 hours of cheese, which we do in July normally, I'm going to see if I can track down some locals, as in Australians, for some of the sessions, because even though all the international people were fantastic, they were all fantastic guests and all had something to share with the community, it would be great to get some people in my own time zone, so people don't have to stay up late and all that sort of stuff. But yeah, that'd be good fun. And there is a wealth of information in the local artisan cheese making community here in Australia as well. But great question, thanks Titus. Katarina said, "Hi Gav and Roomies, I'm planning to make a cow's milk Romano cheese this weekend, and notice you don't have a taste test for this version. How was it?" Cow's milk, I don't know. Did I have a taste test? If you can't find, let me just have let's have a look. See if I can't find one for you in the taste testy thing. Bear with me, I haven't set this up before like I normally do. Rightio, let's go to the YouTubes. Can this work? Oops, wrong thing. Romano. Pecorino Romano taste test. No, you're right, there is no taste test, but in the video itself, did I taste it at the end? Let's go and have a quick look. I don't know if you'll be able to hear any audio for it. What's it say at the end? This is a very old video, by the way. It's a good looking bloke. Nice hands. Okay, rub it. And you're right, there it is. That's not even matured. And that's me, little green cheese. Feel the cheese, very nice. Like that. What did it taste like? Well, the question was, what did it taste like? And the taste was very, very nice. So it was like Parmesan, but certainly a lot fuller flavour, because it was made with full cream milk. And I actually used raw milk in that video as well. It was given to me by my good friend Kate, who lives in Cygnet in Tasmania. She actually came over to visit on the ferry and bought some frozen bottles of cow's milk. And I remember to this day that the cow's name was Sophie. So yeah, it was quite good. So yeah, I made it with raw milk and Romano is one of those cheeses that, by Australian standards, Australian food standards, you can make because it's aged more than 60 days, and it's what is it? It's matured at about 10 degrees Celsius. I matured it for much longer. It was like 10 months. So yeah, it was fine. So no problems at all. But yeah, thanks. It was a great cheese. It was grainy, had great flavour, strong. It had a piquante flavour like you would get with Parmesan, but like I said, fuller bodied. It wasn't as, I don't know, Parmesan's a great cheese, and don't get me wrong, but the Pecorino, not the Pecorino Romano, the Vaccio Romano was very, very nice. Okay. Jay says, are there any challenges in getting cheese-making ingredients given Australia's strict laws about imports? Not so much, because, in fact, all the starter cultures that I use are imported from Italy, or where's Danisco? France, I think. Some manufactured by DuPont, so I think in the US as well. I don't think we have any culture factories per se here in Australia, so everything's imported. Are there any challenges? No, not really. The only real challenge is getting raw milk cheeses, the finished product, into Australia, because there are a lot of bans on most raw milk cheeses. Some that sneak through are cheeses like Roquefort, which is made with raw sheep's milk, and we can get that here in Australia. There are strict rules about how it's packaged and all that sort of stuff. But as far as the actual bacteria and moulds, not so much. Except there's one that I know, what's it called? Mitacor? Mitacor, it has been banned for being imported. It's one of those white yeast molds, yeast/molds, that are on the outside of cheeses like Tom, or sometimes Caerphilly manufacturers put it on the outside, so the Caerphilly has a white bloom, just a little slight one. And it does affect the flavour a little bit, but not so much. So, yeah, don't have too many issues with ingredients that are blocked over here. Jay goes on to follow and says, I've never made my own cheese before. You need to. Give it a go. But it's like your channel because... Oh, hang on. But I like your channel because it inspires me to maybe try it someday. What is your recommendation for the first timer, and what do I need? Okay, so you don't necessarily need a cheese fridge, because that's the pinnacle when you've got a bit of experience on your belt. But one of the first cheeses that I made was feta. Very simple, matures in the normal kitchen fridge. You brine it, and it's pretty fail-safe sort of cheese. I've got like 4 feta recipes on the channel, different milks and that sort of stuff. So I've got a cow's milk feta, which is more like a Danish white cheese than real feta. There's a goat's milk feta, and then there's a traditional Greek feta, which has sheep's milk and goat's milk. And then there's a cow's milk version of what's called Persian feta. There's another name for it. It's called Chabi Chow or something like that. Don't quite know if I pronounced that correctly. But yeah, start off with feta or halloumi or even paneer. Nice simple cheese to make. Indian cottage cheese. Don't need any rennet for that. Some of the other simple cheeses like Caerphilly is one of the simplest ones, and Guido's hard Italian cheese. All cheeses that are ready within 3 weeks. The fresh ones are obviously ready a lot earlier. Queso fresco is another fantastically easy one. Can be eaten on the same day, so really good. Titus says, just a commentary I found in the internet, cut and paste. Emmentaler is one of the best melting cheeses and the main ingredients of delicious fondue. Indeed. and you go on to say, it gives... Its pH level gives it the perfect melting point, resulting in a molten liquid that is stringy and holds its shape at the same time. Yeah, oh, okay. Yeah, same thing. Ignore... Right. Always clicking on the thing too late. Anyway, thanks, Titus. Appreciate it. Ken says, hi, Gavin. What video of yours would be the best for me to start as a complete beginner? I love extra mature cheddar cheese. Okay, let's get this out of the way first, this first bit. Let's take a sip. I'm getting a bit dry. The extra mature cheddar will take you at least 12 months to mature. And as a beginner, I probably would not make cheddar cheese as the first cheese. There is a video that I made. Let me just go and see. I'll see if I can find it. Here we go. You can all come along for the journey. Looking for beginner. There we go. Beginner's cheese list with no cheese. Ask the Cheeseman number 18. Goodness me, and we're up to 256. Hang on, let me just. This is before I used to record live. Look at that bloke. He's actually. It's not all grey like he is now. Goodness me, the head shape's the same though, and I've actually. I'm more grey on top. That was a long time ago. When was it made? 5 years ago. Right, anyway, let's just get the link. Let me just stop flapping around. Oh, goodness me. Alright, here we are. Check this out. So this will give you some cheeses to start off with as a beginner. And as I talk through that video, you'll see that there'll be info cards that pop up over here with all the links to those cheeses to make. So go and check that out. That'll be really cool. And you'll learn a lot from that. So, Tang says cheese. G'day, Tang. How are you? Jay Loomis, least favourite cheese. Well, as everybody knows, those who watch regularly, I love all the cheeses. So, what's my least favourite cheese? Well, my least favourite cheese is processed cheese. There you go. I don't think much of it has any right to be called cheese in the first place. There are some vegan cheeses that shouldn't really have the name cheese. In fact, none of them should have the name cheese, because cheese is traditionally made from milk from animals, and vegan cheese is not. Nothing against vegans, just some of the cheese is pretty awful. One of my favourite vegan cheeses, though, is cashew burt, or camembert made with a cashew base. And yeah, it is oozy and all that sort of stuff, and it's very nice. But processed cheese would be up there, number one, which is one of the reasons why I made the video American Cheese, after much prodding by Larry from deep South Texas. All I did was I got some cheese that I wasn't particularly not fond of. It was just sitting in the back of the fridge, not doing much. And I added some sodium citrate and some water. And sodium citrate is an emulsifier, and it stops the fats and the solids from separating when you melt cheese, and it makes a nice gooey cheese consistency with all the cheesy goodness, because the only other additive is the sodium citrate. So that's how I made my processed cheese without all those other stuff that are usually in there. Anyway, very cool. Great question, thank you very much. Chris says, hi Gav, I have a video suggestion. You could make Reblochon, which is a washed rind cheese, but at the end it develops a white bloom on top. You could get 2 videos out of this one. Continued on the next message. There is a great recipe from Reblochon called tarte filette, which is a sliced potato, onions, cheese, and Reblochon on top, cooked in the oven. The flavour is incredible. All right, that's lovely. I will write that down. Reblochon is on my list. Where's my list? Oh, goodness me, it's all happening now. My list, my beautiful list. Where is it? There it is. So on my list of cheeses for this year, I know it's very technical, isn't it? You'll see that Reblochon is there. I have a recipe, which is good, so that'll mean it gets made this year. So yes, so I will be making that cheese anyway. And what was the other thing? Tart fillet. I'll look for a recipe for that as well. But yeah, great suggestion. I'm always up for 2 videos for the price of 1. So yeah, I'll give that a go. Thanks very much, Chris. Next question is Dr. G. G'day, Gav. Hey, Gav. G'day. Bet late but cool. What? Yeah. Yeah, better late than cool. That's cool. You are better to be early. Jay says, Americans don't consider American cheese actually cheese, but a grilled cheese with American cheese with tomato soup is still delicious in our sub-freezing temperatures. I bet it is. Look, don't get me wrong, Kim still buys processed cheese. The kind of ones that you put on, you know, hamburger patties that just melt and go boom, like that. I don't particularly eat them very much. Only when she serves them up to me. But yeah, I prefer, you know, real cheese, made with, you know, rennet and all that sort of good stuff. But yeah, look, I totally agree. Whatever works. Some processed cheeses, the salt content is just through the roof for most of them. Anyway, moving right along. All's right. G'day, mate. How are you? Greetings all. Sorry I'm late to the party. What did I miss? A little bit of stuff. Not a heck of a lot. Was it 24 minutes into the show? But yeah, and start over. Don't leave anything out. Oh, hilarious. Anyway, we will have a gallery of sorts at 30 minutes past the hour. And a big thank you to Shauna, who sent in some photos, plus another guy called Johan sent me some information around how to make the StirMate work. He's actually designed some little 3D printed things that you attach onto the original plastic paddle that comes with the StirMate, not the Omni XL big stop pot stirrer thing, but these are like little, you know, like the aerolons, the things on the ends of aircraft wings. Anyway, so they point up. So when it stirs, it actually pushes it in a circular motion, bottom to top, instead of, and round to round as it spins. So, yeah, keep an eye out for that when we check it out. Titus says, I agree, but American cheese tastes good. Yeah, okay. Chris says, I'm not sure if you have access to Reblochon in Oz, since it's usually a raw milk cheese. The texture is a bit firmer than other washed rind cheeses. It's a little easier to wash and handle than others. Let me just have a look at the recipe that I'm going to use. It's in 200 Easy Cheeses. Page 167 of my book anyway. Just bear with me for a second. Right. So in the recipe that I've got here, it uses mesophilic culture, Bravibacteria linens, milk, calcium chloride, rennet, and salt, and a brine solution. Yeah, it is made from raw milk in France. You're 100% correct. It's in the eastern region of France. Doesn't say where from. Yeah, I will give it a go. It's definitely on my list to make this year. And you're right, I have never seen it in Australia. Mind you, I haven't been to a cheesemonger in a long time because of COVID. I'd love to get to one and have a look what they actually have these days. We have a couple of good cheesemongers here in Melbourne, so that would be interesting to go and see if they have started to import more raw milk cheeses. But anyway, Jay Loomis says the Bernoulli effect for the aeroplane, yeah, makes the air go in circles, I think, after the tail of wing. Anyway, I won't go any. I'm not an aeronautical designer, so I wouldn't know. Anyway, let's start the gallery now. Anyway, because do I have? Where the heck is my gallery? You didn't plan this very well, Gav. What's going on? Oh, it's all crashing. That's not good. Oh, good. If I lose you in the next few minutes, don't mind. I'll be back. It looks like Windows has just had a baby. And we'll see what happens in a second. Hey, there we go. It's still thinking about it. I can't get the pictures. I'll come back to it. Not responding. Windows, don't do this to me. Yeah, we'll get to the gallery in a second then. Oh, there we go. It's figured it out. Right, there we go. Goodness me. Alrighty, is this the gallery? Is this what I wanted? Okay, so yeah, let's see how we go. Right, first of all, we'll talk about the one from Johan that he sent in. Gallery, how do I press it? Right, there we go. Right, so the first image is, this is the paddle that he's made, and I'll just read out what he said here. It says, "Hi Gavin, regarding your last video where you mentioned that the stirmate needs something with wings that will deflect the wave with the curds upwards to prevent clumping, I have reached the same conclusion. I've designed and 3D printed with these PETG, the material that soft drink bottles is made of, and that is food safe. I've not used it yet, but will let you know if it works if interested. I will provide the STL files free of charge if any of your viewers are interested in having access to a 3D, are interested and have access to a 3D printer. Kind regards, Johan." So this is what he's come up with. Let me just show you how it's kind of fitted on. So there's the original Stirmate plastic wand that comes with the machine already. And he's fitted them down the bottom. So there it is there, coming out of the Stirmate wand thing. Can we zoom in a little bit? So he's got the sticks going through those holes that he's made there. Right, there's another picture. Right, there we go. Now, yeah, so he's got one way and one the other way, so that would push the liquid up. Yeah, that would work. I'm pretty sure, but yeah, that's pretty inventive. Hopefully he's going to make some cheese and figure it out. He should send that. I have replied back to Johan via email, so hopefully he reports back that it actually works, and we'll see. Now, I haven't had much joy. Let me just go back to the main. So I haven't had much joy actually with the creators of the Stirmate. They said they're going to send some things through, and I gave them my address, but I didn't get a response to that email. But we'll see if something turns up, it turns up, and I'll do an update for that Stirmate video. But yeah, it would be pretty good if there was something cool like Johan has 3D printed, and if he does give the file for 3D printers, then yeah, I'll see if I can get one made up locally and test it out as well myself. So I think 2023 will be the ongoing saga of the Stirmate. I certainly don't want to give up on it, and that's because, you know, like, it cost, all the bits cost me about $140 Australian. I certainly don't want to waste it. Anyway, moving right along. The next picture is from Shauna down in Tassie. And Shauna says, "Good morning, Gavin and Kim. My photo today is my second raclette. It has been aged for 3 months. Nice rind, beautiful texture, and a wonderful creamy mouthfeel. Mouthfeel, not mouthful. Gav, read the writing. Behind it is SROM in the drying stage. I'm intrigued to see how this tastes. Yeah, it indeed. I've actually got the recipe for it as well. SROM. It's in the 200 Easy Cheeses book. but I've never made it myself. So, Shauna, please do tell, once you've got it, that would be fantastic to see. Yeah, but thank you so much. I think, is that it? Another? No. Here's a bit of a sneaky peek. Oh, here we go. Nice koala. This is the thumbnail for the Vegemite cheese. I actually did have another one beforehand, but I decided to change it out today because, Australian colours are green and gold, so I changed the colour bit. Love kangaroos and koalas. They're all very cool. There you go. Boop, on his nose. But this Vegemite cheese will be released, like I said, in the early hours of this morning, or tomorrow morning, so that all of the Americas, which are the biggest demographic for the channel, not only get the video first, but they wake up to it, kind of. So it'll be interesting to see how popular this is. Between you and me, I've kind of hammed up the Aussie accent and thrown a couple of crikeys and struths and you name that in there. Bit like the legend Steve Irwin. God bless him. But yeah, fantastic. But yeah, we're gonna have fun with the Vegemite video, so that'll be good fun. Alrighty, so that was the gallery. Thank you to everybody who sent in, well, Shauna and Johan. Thank you both. Now, how do you send in stuff to the gallery? Well, let me show you. If we go back to the page, if you go to the channel page and you go to the About tab just here where my little pointer is, you see if you scroll down it says Details. For business inquiries, view email address. And yes, indeed, I'm in Australia. So you'll have to be logged into your Google account or whatever you log on to a YouTube with to view the email address. And that's where you can send any photos with questions or what have you. I've got a moth. Get out of here. With questions or, you want some diagnosis during the show or something like that. But I'd love to see pictures of your cheese. Please send them in. Don't be shy. Yeah, we'll certainly show them on the channel. That's for sure. Okay. That's enough of that. We'll get rid of that. There are some more questions down in the chat. Let's have a look. All was right says, do different types of salt, different salt types change the flavour profile, i.e. sea salt, Himalayan salt, etc.? No, not really. It's all calcium. It's all sodium chloride. Salt is salt. The funny you should say that though, because the other day I was scrambling to find some salt for some brine. And I was making my cheese that I have named Tassie Devil because it's got quite a kick to it. And all those who know the Warner Brother cartoons, the Tassie Devil is a wild thing. They are wild little animals, but anyway, the cheese is going to be called Tassie Devil, which I've created myself. And yeah, I couldn't find any normal salt, coarse cheese salt that I normally use, which is sea salt, basically. It's been evaporated. Comes from the salt pans in Wyalla in South Australia, is where we source our cheese salt. So, anyway, I'd run out. I couldn't find any. I didn't want to really take any out of stock because a lot of people were buying it. So, what I had was some Himalayan pink salt, some rock salt. So what I did, I weighed out 450 grams of rock salt and threw that into 2 litres of water and made some brine. And yes, of course, it went pink. However, as I was dissolving the salt into the water, 2 funny things happened. So the water went pink, of course, but then as I brought it up to about 60, 70 degrees Celsius, I found that it all started to clear, and then all this pink slurry settled on the bottom of the pot. So as then I let it cool down, and it was still clear. and this pink slurry was still present, and little bits of grit, which, you know, the Himalayan salt's not pure. So what I did, I poured off the clear liquid, excuse me, poured off the clear liquid and put that in my brine bucket. And then basically what I did was all that slurry and stuff I just tipped down the sink, because I think it was grit or something. Goodness knows what. So maybe that would change the flavour. But I did brine the Tassie Devil in the pink Himalayan salt. So we'll see if that makes any difference whatsoever. I dare say it probably won't. It was certainly salty. I did manage to do the old egg floating test to make sure that the brine was strong enough, and the cheese floated during the whole brining process. So definitely a lot of salt in there. Anyway, great question though. All's right. Thank you very much. Jay Loomis says, is it possible to make mozzarella without a press? Yes, indeed. I don't ever use a press to make mozzarella. It's always hand pulled. And as Titus has said, he said, I've always made mozzarella without pressing, hand pressing. Yeah, so, you know, once you get the stretch going and then you do the ball thing and then you put that in the cold water, there is no pressing for mozzarella whatsoever. There are mozzarella-like cheeses that they like to say that is mozzarella. Remember, a mozzarella is made with buffalo milk. It's a pasta filata cheese. It melts well. It just goes pretty flat. The buffalo type, anyway. The cow's milk version, the mozzarella di Fiori, I think that's what it's called. I'm not sure if I got that right, but anyway, cow's milk mozzarella. Tends to go a little bit yellow when it's made because of the high beta carotene that's in cow's milk compared to, say, buffalo milk and goat's milk and sheep's milk. They don't have as much, but the beta carotene is what makes the cheese naturally turn yellow as well. But yeah, Jay says, sorry, I'm a newbie. That's okay, mate. All questions are answered here. Oh, sorry, Titus. What's that? Oh, right. So I've always made mozzarella without pressing. Well, just hand pressing, hand kneading, right, is what you do. But yeah, very cool. But yeah, Jay, don't be scared asking a question. I'm happy to answer them all for sure. Yeah. So one thing I did. Where the heck did I put them all? I had jokes. Oh, here they are. It's time. Yeah, we got 20 minutes. Why not? Cheesy jokes. Now these are the worst jokes ever. Just saying. Okay. And they are like the worst dad jokes you've ever heard. Anyway, here we are. Let's right. Why did the clown leave the cheese circus? Because she couldn't get her stilt on. You know, Stilton, the cheese. Goodness me. Who writes these? What is a beaver's favourite cheese? That would be Edam. Get it? Edam. Nice joke. All right, here's another one. A very animal theme today. What type of cheese do you use to attract a bear? Camembert. Goodness me. Maybe that's just bear. I don't know, whatever. If you say it, don't call it camembert. It's not camembert, it's camembert. There's another animal one. I saw a crocodile the other day, but thankfully it only eats cheese. It's an alligator. Lordy. I've actually forgotten these jokes were so bad. That's too early. Stop. Right. A cheese sandwich walks into a bar. The bartender says, "Sorry, sir, we don't serve food here." Goodness me. Who writes these? Right, last one. Yeah, last one. The other one's lame. Not that these are lame. Why was the cheese depressed? Because it was blue. I think it should be that. Yes. Righto, that's enough jokes. I'll stop torturing you now. Surely there's some more questions. Right. Shauna says, I've been struggling to find racks to use in my ripening baskets. I bought some metal ones and covered with plastic mats, but the racks themselves went rusty. Any idea where I can source some? Yeah, most of those stainless steel ones will definitely go rusty. Have you tried, because we've got some plastic mats in store now, have you tried stacking those? I would think that probably 3 mats stacked on top of each other would be perfect. They probably wouldn't leave much of an imprint on the cheese. I've been using 1 or 2, but mainly on the for putting my vacuum packed cheeses on the shelves of the cheese fridge, because normally those wires put indents into the bottom of the cheese. So what I tend to do, Shauna, is put a plastic mat down first and then put the vacuum packed cheese on top. And I think they would work perfectly well for putting them into any plastic box and stacking them. I have tried stacking them. Hang on, let's have a look. I've tried stacking, but only a couple. Look, probably 3. That'll get enough off the bottom, because they're about, what, yay thick, if I remember rightly? That thick. So maybe 3 on top of each other would be okay. So I think that'll be fine. Titus says, plastic or wood cheese racks, just saying. Look, wooden racks are the best, obviously. But when you don't have that much space and you don't have an environment that is humid enough to mature cheese naturally, we've got to resort to ripening boxes, the plastic boxes that you put into your cheese fridge. The cheese fridge is temperature controlled, but it's not humidity controlled. So the ripening box helps to increase the humidity without any cross-contamination between the different types of cheeses that we may have in our cheese fridge. For instance, we know that Shauna had a raclette, that is a washed rind cheese, so red mold. Brevibacteria linens is known to cross-contaminate other cheeses without any issues whatsoever, but she had to put them in a ripening box, so that's what you could do. Now, those ripening boxes that we did have had a fairly good rack in them, but like I said, Decor Australia, who made them, discontinued manufacturing them, so I have yet to find anything that is suitable. Charles says, could one make racks out of relatively harder cheeses? Make racks out of cheese? I don't understand the question, but yeah, no, not that I know of. But yeah, so I'm yet to solve the issue again. I just hope my ripening boxes don't break in any hurry. I treat them with kid gloves these days and don't have too many problems. So, but yeah, so it's very interesting. There's a question from Ilgvars 120. Hello, I ordered from UK Penicillium Roque 40, MA16 culture, annatto, rennet and lactic acid. All is stuck in Royal Mail. Question is, will these all things survive cold warehouses over a month? It's probably best that it is cold in the UK. Not that we can't ship, and this is not from me, he's ordered from somewhere else. But yeah, they'll be fine. If they're stuck in a cold warehouse, then there is no issues whatsoever. Remembering that all of these powders we use, the cultures and moulds and stuff, are all freeze-dried. So it doesn't really matter what the temperature is when it is transported. So the best before date of all of the cultures takes into consideration 14 days travelling at 30 degrees Celsius. So You can extrapolate that out a little bit if you want to. But, yeah, being stuck in a cold place is not an issue. They'll all survive, no problems at all. Liquid rennet will survive, for weeks out of the fridge. It still works. I've tested it because I've forgotten to put it back in the fridge myself. Been a silly duffer, put it in the cupboard instead, and yeah, it still works, so there was no issue. So no, there won't be any issues with your starter cultures and the like. Katarina's got a suggestion, says, what about using a few Lego blocks under the thinner mat to raise it? That's a pretty good idea, because you can sanitize the Lego, no problems at all, in a bleach solution if you need to. So, yeah, so you'll have to go... The problem is, Shauna, you might have to go down to the local Kinder and steal some. Because these days, I don't think you can buy just Lego bricks themselves. Maybe at the $2 store. But normally they're a little kit to make something. So, I don't know. So that'll be fun. I'll let you figure that out. But, yeah, it'll work. That's a great idea, Katarina. So thank you for suggesting that. So we've got 10 minutes to go. If you've got any other cheese questions, please answer them, or we'll wrap up the show soon enough. But yeah, it's been an interesting chat today. We haven't got a heck of a lot of people watching, 26 people, but it's certainly enough to keep the chat lively and without me having to stumble and figure out things to say. And before we go, of course, we've got to do the curd nerd light, don't we? So those who have been here before, don't forget that you know that if you do a super chat, the curd nerd light comes on all by itself. I don't touch anything. But I just thought I'd do an obligatory flash of the light, because you don't spend all that money on a curd nerd light for not to go off, you know what I mean? Anyway, very cool. Alrighty, so it doesn't look like there's any more questions, so I might wrap it up unless there's one in the next minute or so. Katarina says, my kids are all grown, I'll have to steal them from the grandkids. Indeed. I think I've even got some Lego still from my kids are all grown up and left home, except for Ben. But he's the baby of the family, so of course Kim will let him stay for as long as he wants, but that's fine. I don't mind at all. But yeah, I think even we've got some Lego under the bed. If you can't find any, Shauna, I'll have a look around, see what I can come up with, and in your next order, I'll throw a few bricks, if I can find them. I don't know where they are. I think my older son May, who bought them all, may have taken some to Germany with him, but we'll have a look. I think they're under a bed somewhere. Could do. But let me know. Anyway, that'll do for today, ladies and gentlemen. I'll call it a show. Thanks for watching, everybody. I've appreciated your time. There is another question. Who's this from? Is that working? Why is that not working? Right, there we go. Ayrton says, Mr. Webber, I just joined the live now. Sadly, it's almost over. Yes. All right, well, I'll answer your question because I'm a nice man. But what would your advice be for starting, as this is a hobby, for example, where to buy the right equipment? Well, you know that we sell all the stuff here at Little Green Workshops, so that's always good fun. Thank you, Jay, for the super chat. I appreciate it. And see, look, I didn't touch anything. No magic. I'll get to your comment in a second. But where can you buy it all? Well, of course, you couldn't do any worse, Ayrton. If you're in Australia or the countries that we ship to, you can always get your cheese-making supplies over at littlegreenworkshops.com.au. We've got all the equipment there, except for a pot. You'll have to buy your own pot. Jay Loomis, thank you so much for the $2 US and making the sign go off. But good night, everybody. Oh, hang on. There's one more question. All right. I'll hang around. We got some. What's the difference between single strength rennet and double strength rennet? Well, that will be the strength, Martin, my good friend. Single strength rennet is about IMCU between 200 and 280. Double strength rennet has an IMCU rating of about 400 to 450. So obviously double strength rennet, you use half the amount for the recipes that I have. All the recipes I have are for single strength rennet of IMCU about 200 to 280. So there you go. So I got that last question in. But thanks for watching, Kerners. Don't forget you can pick up some merch like the lovely apron that you can see over there. Over at merch.cheeseman.tv, including all my ebooks and all of the recipes that I'm producing now. I am putting them on the merch store as downloadable PDFs. I think they're about $5 Australian, about $3 US, I think it is. So that's instead of, you waiting for, say, the next book, and there will be a third one eventually. But instead of having to wait for it and wait for the written recipe, you can download it. I put a link in the video description as well of the Alpine Blossom. The recipe's there available for purchase, and their recipe for the Vegemite cheese, which will be released, the video will be released in the early hours of Australia Day, which is tomorrow for us. So anyway, thanks for watching, Nerds, and I will see you on the Sunday show. Definitely be here, unless I'm sick, of course, which I don't wish that on anybody. And of course, next Wednesday for whatever time zone you're in. So thanks for watching, Nerds, and I'll see you next time.